This video is about the concept that the angle of the sun's rays streaming through the clouds tells us about the distance from the observer on the surface of the earth to the sun. This is the second video. This is the second attempt. The first video I made private because I don't think I did a good enough job, and from some of the comments I made, I think I was just confusing people and wasn't explaining myself well, and also this is a bigger issue than I thought in the flat earth community. I thought all the flatheads like myself sort of put this issue aside, but I guess it's still out there, so I want to redo this video, so let's go right now. The idea is that you've got sun streaming through clouds like this, and if you follow the direction of the light will indicate that the sun is just above the clouds or at cloud level. So let me be real clear. What I'm saying is that this argument that people have used in the flat earth community, I'm a flat earther, just so you know, as most of you do, would lead to the conclusion that the sun is only about 20 or 40 or 50,000 feet up if it's just right above the clouds or at cloud level. And that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, since we would, fly above it when we're in the sun, when we're going in a jetliner in some cases, or would be right near it. So the position I hold is that the sun is about 5,000 to 7,000 miles away, because that experiment can be done with just putting some sticks in the ground, putting some of the ground at North America, and then some of the ground in Europe, measuring the different angles, and then you can tell, you can do some simple geometry to figure out the distance to the sun. That was done in ancient Greece, but it was assumed that the sun was very distant and could be considered the same distance for all observers because it was so far away. So it was assumed that curvature in ancient Greece was the reason for the different angles of sunlight from the sticks in different places. But if you remove that assumption, then I think there's some other people have done the calculation. The sun is only about 5,000 to 7,000 miles away when you do that. When you do that calculation, that's the position I hold. Okay, this idea that the sun's rays lead to the sun being only about 20 or 50,000 feet, I think is self-evidently false. But let's go through it more carefully. All we're seeing when we see the sun rays stream through the clouds like this is you're seeing, from your perspective, the bottom half of the sun's rays streaming through the clouds, and they don't stream in a straight line. They stream in a patulous way, in a radial way, because the sun has, from our perspective on Earth, has the round appearance. So the rays spread out in every radial direction. Okay, it's the same thing when you look at streetlights. Okay, look at these streetlights here. I'm told by people that if you go far enough away, this stops the patulous rays. Don't do this. Well, this picture of these streetlights, they're all doing it, all the different distances. And according to the flat Earth argument, the sun is going to be about the farthest light object we have. And it has patulous rays that are visible. So if there are light objects that don't have patulous rays because they're too far, I don't think that could be verified, because according to the flat Earth model, the sun is, I believe, about as far as it gets. There wouldn't be anything further to test. So that idea appears to be incorrect, that the patulous rays don't do that when you get far enough out. Here's, I just looked up streetlights at night on Google. Here's the first couple pictures in the search. And you see all those pictures have patulous rays, just like the sun. In fact, the top middle picture right there with the arrow pointing to it, if that picture wasn't darkened, it would look a lot like the sun is setting right there in the top middle. It looks just like it, because you're seeing the bottom half of the light. Now here's the biggest point of all. Look at this picture of the forest here. You can see the angle of the rays there, and you can see that if you pretend those trees are clouds, like in this other picture we just saw, you're gonna have to lead to the same conclusion to say that the sun is just above the trees. Okay, so I think this picture disproves the idea that this angle of sunlight through the clouds is telling its distance. Because if so, you'd have to apply the exact same logic to this picture of the forest here, and then you're going to have to say the sun is about 100 feet up in the air. And that's not going to go too well, or at the most, and that's not going to go too well. Alright, so I think the case is closed on this, but, I don't want to be dogmatic. If I'm wrong, please point it out. So we can look at a picture here, and here's the sun high up in the sky. You don't. This could be in the very middle of the sky for all you know. This picture. Those rays don't tell anything about its distance. That could be 10 miles. They could be trillions of miles or googolplex miles. You don't know because the rays are simply radial rays, and radial rays don't tell us distance. Now, if I cover up this sun image here, if I make some artificial clouds draw them in, then all of a sudden you might say, "Oh, okay, now do the rays all of a sudden, now that that the sun is covered up, we just see part of the rays. Does that tell us the distance to it?" Because this is the exact same situation that the sun streaming through the clouds leads to. Okay, so we can see in both cases it does not tell distance. So if suddenly I change the orientation of the sun from high in the sky to further away, where perspective brings it closer to the horizon by appearance, do the clouds covering it then all of a sudden make it much tell us the distance to it? And the answer would appear to be no. See, here's a picture of the top of the sun. You can see the patulous rays coming through the top also, through the clouds. Is not telling us distance. So the patulous rays, that's just like we saw with the street lights, that's just how lights work, and that's just all the sun is doing. It just depends how you're looking at the light. It can create the illusion that the rays tell you where it is. But rays do not tell depth. That's the problem. Because if you're looking at something and the rays meet at the light source, you don't know the depth. So if you're looking at the sun, like in this picture here, you don't know if it could be 6,000 miles away from you. Okay, but if it's just above the clouds there, it's about 40 miles or something. Just to throw out an estimate. But the problem is that that's what we are not told. Anyways, look at this picture here. This illustrates what I'm saying. I just drew those clouds there. Obviously, sun by that hill. By the same reasoning, the rays should tell us the sun is right where the X is there. But look, when I take away the clouds, you see it's just the sun that's high up. If we go by the reasoning of the rays will tell us the radial nature of the rays, then the sun, that thing's about ready to bump into that hill, and birds and stuff are going to be flying over it. You could probably shoot bullets over it, over the sun from where you are. And the sun would be real small. It was just right there. It'd be about, what, 10 feet across or something. So this isn't making any sense. I'm laughing because I was thinking about birds flying over it. I'm not trying to be snide. In my opinion, the real way to find the distance to the sun is with video footage like this. This is from a clip from my volume 2 of my Zeteticism series that I'm working on. The sun gets smaller as it moves away from you, and we can use this information to tell the distance to the sun, and I believe it'll turn out to be about 5,000 to 8,000 miles, 5,000 to 7,000 miles. Anyway, there's some other flatheads that are angry at me, I think, about this. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of things. Okay, I'm not trying to get famous or win the argument or be the hero that wins it all and is a flat Earth champion. So I'm just want to know. That's all. So if somebody can disprove me on this, I will take this video down and I will make a video showing I was wrong. I don't think anybody's gonna, because I think this makes a lot of sense, especially with the tree argument, the forest. But anyway, thanks. Take care.